Two-time Super Bowl champion, number 31 in your programs. Mr. Jonathan Jones joins the program. Jonathan, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. How was practice today?
It was good. It was good to be back out there and get to it. We got off day tomorrow, so it was good to wrap up today.
So, John, thanks for joining us, by the way. I want to ask about the way that the defense has been feeling since you found out that Matthew Judon was traded and how much, I guess, what kind of void he's leaving that, other guys are going to have to fill in terms of not just what he brings to the position on the football field, but in the locker room as somebody who is clearly a leader in that locker room in you.
It's going to be some big shoes to fill. I mean, like I said, from on the field, his impact that was left, but then also in the locker room. He was just a guy who you heard his voice a lot. He was very outspoken. And then on the field, some big shoes to follow. But we have some guys that I think are ready to step up and fill into those roles. And as the season progresses, they're going to have to show that they're fit, to do that.
Jonathan, as a leader on the team, you're one of the longest tenured players on the team. I think it's Cardona, Andrews, and you. So you're one of the guys I'm sure a lot of these younger players are looking up to. Guys like Christian Gonzalez, who had that promising rookie year before it was cut short. As someone who came into the league and joined the Patriots in the middle of their second dynasty, there was still sort of that Patriot way thing with Brady and Bill and all of that. How are you bringing along the new guys? What sort of responsibility do you put on yourself for doing that with this team?
A lot. I think I became that voice, especially after Devin and Matthew retired. There was a void there to be filled. And just showing the guys what it means to be a veteran, what it means to be a guy in this league. And, the NFL is a tough league, week in and week out. And winning in this league is hard. And just trying to show guys, how that's done and what that looks like, and having had some success in my career and just trying to show those guys what that looks like.
Now, Christian got off to a great start last year. Obviously, it was cut short by the injury. What have you seen from him so far as he tries to get back into that mode again and be as productive as he was to start last season?
He's having a great camp. Him and a lot of the guys, the younger guys, are having a great camp. They're coming in every day working. He's making plays. And like you said, last year, it was a phenomenal start that he got off to. And I think he's looking to build off of that. And he has the confidence. He has a skill set. And I think it's going to be a good year for him as long as he can stay healthy and stay out there.
We know that Jerod Mayo is primarily a defensively minded coach as a head coach. How involved is he day-to-day and hands-on, whether at practice or in meetings, with the defense is he right now compared to who he was last year when he was technically, linebackers coach, but kind of de facto partial coordinator? And how's he work with DeMarcus Covington so far?
Oh, man, he always says he has to put on his head coach hat, even though he's a defensive guy. So he definitely has that 3,000-foot overview of the team. Not as much, hands-on with the defense. I think he loves to split his time both ways. And with DeMarcus being in the system for a few years and they having the same vision of how they want to run the defense, I think he has a lot of trust in DC to do that with the defense. And Mayo is just taking a bigger perspective of looking on both sides of the ball, having to do a little bit with the offense as well.
Does the defense feel different to you so far in this training camp compared to last year and the year before?
I wouldn't say different. I think the foundation, even from, Mayo, Coach Mayo, his foundation that he grew up in the system, defensively. So schematically, it's relatively the same. But there's a lot of new change and turnover, like I said, within the guys that are in that locker room now on the defense. And so I definitely see it being a different defense with different guys. But schematically, it's the same. But the ability that this defense provides is for every coordinator that we've had. It's always kind of looked a little bit different. And so, DC is going to have an opportunity to put his own spin on it.
Now, John, it seems like for the most part, people like us, reporters, everybody talks about the defense like you guys are going to be fine. It's really the offense that everyone's worried about. You were there for the beginning of the Mac Jones experience, and you saw him his rookie year. You were there for that camp. As someone, on the other side of the ball, competing against them during these camps and during these practices, what similarities and differences would you say you're seeing now with Drake May?
I think what this league has taught me is to buckle my seatbelt and enjoy the ride. It's going to be ebbs and flows. That's the beauty of the NFL and his career. I think what's going to make Drake who he is as a quarterback is how he responds to adversity. This league, you're going to have adversity. You're going to go through it. And I think, for him, when his time comes, right now it's Jacoby's time, but when his time comes, it's going to be about how he handles, adversity, how he handles being the backup, how well he's learning, behind Jacoby and taking advantage of those reps in practice so that when it does become his time, that he's ready to handle it.
Now, you and Jacoby entered the league at the same year, right? He was drafted in 2013. You were signed, or 2016, I should say. That's when you were signed as well. Now he's back on the team. Now, what have you seen in terms of his growth? He's been all over the play with the Colts and all these other teams. What have you seen from him in terms of progression from the player he was, you two together as rookies, to who he is now?
Yeah, we laughed. We laughed when he got back, just saying, look where we came from. I mean, like you said, the growth. He's gone, learned other systems. Truly became a veteran in this league at quarterback, from a backup and also a starter in this league. He's progressed so much, in his career. And we laughed that, this is how the story has come along with both of us coming in, him leaving and coming back. He's learned a lot, and I'm excited to see, how the season goes for him.
So there was a little bit of notice on when you guys were starting training camp, little things like, hey, you guys have a players lounge now and you have practice starting a little bit later because you're going to meetings before that rather than the night before. How much do those day-to-day things so far in training camp and the preseason feel like a change in the culture down there driven by Gerard Mayo and the rest of the staff? Or is that even something that you guys notice?
No, it's definitely different. And for me, I've gotten kind of used to the same routine, for 8+ years. And so it's definitely different. And those things, some of the guys appreciate the little things. Football is still going to be football, the X's and O's. But when you get off the field in that department, I think he's done a good job of changing that culture for the guys, and especially a lot of the younger guys. They definitely appreciate that.
What's the biggest difference on the field, practice-wise, and joint practice, and even the preseason games? What's the biggest difference on the field with Gerard Mayo there holding the clipboard as opposed to Bill Belichick?
Oh man, I really couldn't pinpoint a finger difference as far as on the field. Just simply because, like I said, football is football. I think, they both have very high standards, and that's the beauty of it. The standard is high. Gerard has the same standard of perfection from us. And so, whether we're out there with him or in the past when it was Coach Belichick, the standards are very high. And so as a player, you notice that, you feel that. So you don't have time to, be lackadaisical out there. It's just pressure. And so Gerard does a good job of forcing that pressure on guys, letting guys know, that, this is a high-stakes business. And so he definitely does a good job of that.
The Patriots put out one of their mic'd up videos of Jabril Peppers the other day. And I find him extremely entertaining, both in his style of play and the mic'd up, I think, back that up. Does he talk the most on defense, or is there somebody who's come in and kind of challenged him in that department?
I don't think anybody can talk more than Pep, man. He's a guy, you're going to hear him before you see him, but when you see him, you're definitely going to see him. It's awesome to have him out there flying around. His play matches his words. He's very energetic. He flies around the field with relentless effort, and we need guys like that on the defense. So, I enjoy having Pep out there every day.
All right.
Really quick, does he annoy anybody on the offense? Is anybody on the offense it's one of these days when you're out there in pads and it's like a couple weeks ago when it was 97 degrees and it's like, seriously, Pep, what are you doing?
I think at this point they just have to come with it because they know that's what he's going to do. So either you beat his energy or you're just going to get ran over for the day because that's just how he comes out there. So they definitely understand that that's who he is and they have to deal with it.
All right, Jonathan Jones, thanks so much for the time today. Great talking with you, and good luck this year.
Man, I appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
All right, that was
Thank
Jonathan
you.
Jones.